Welcome to another session of Spirits and Monsters of Old Seattle. When we left our brave investigators, they were currently hiding out in a mysterious barn. There, they had met Father Xavier Duffy, a priest who had been bound for Ballard until he disappeared into this strange mist. Things took a decidedly macabre turn when Julian uncovered the dead body of Anissa, a protective spirit of the farm who had been killed in this barn. As Julian, let's say, investigated the scene, and definitely didn't fail a fear check and go scrambling away, his allies came to look in and discovered that the Nisa had been killed by ramming a nail from the barn through its heart. Sofie discovered that it's Nisa's porridge, a mystical item said to grant great strength, was laying nearby and was probably still fine to eat. And, shocking us all, 2 for 2, Dr. Lucius Jensen, master of empathy and human connection, passed a social roll. Phoenix, I'm not saying you're being replaced, but I am saying someone's crushing every role he makes.
I need to retire my character now.
Immediately.
It's fine. Even if he learns, proper bedside manner, even though I don't have the named advantage anymore, need I remind you all, mighty thews.
So Julian has gone from the bard to the fighter. And Dr. Jensen has gone from the cleric to the cleric who can once in a blue moon talk to someone.
Sounds about right.
Yep. So, Dr. J managed to get Xavier Duffy talked off a cliff and get the man out of a semi-catatonic state, and learned that his companions had disappeared in this strange mist, the last of whom had vanished in the night after saying that he heard strange voices calling out to him from the mist. When Father Xavier followed up, all he found was a hoof print left behind in the mud on the banks of the lake. Now, there was something I told you all you were going to learn last time. What was... Oh, right. I told Erin she was going to learn exciting new Vossen information.
God damn it,
and
Brian.
then I fucking made her wait multiple times.
Yes, you did.
Before we could actually record this. Because I'm the worst.
You are the worst. Just kidding. Love you.
So tune in next time, dear listeners, to find out what that is.
The world's shortest episode. All right. So... Having heard Father Xavier's story, Sophie's mind starts kind of going. There's a connection there. Something about the way he mentioned finding a hoof print in the mud. Her first thought is, of course, the neck. But there's something else. There's a little thought just kind of like itching at the back of her mind. Erin, starting off strong, can I get a learning test from Sofie?
You sure can. And guess what dice I'm going to use?
Is it the luckiest dice?
Well, I don't own those. Phoenix owns those, but...
Did you steal Phoenix's?
I will use my dice that my GM so thoughtfully provided.
All right, come on, dice. Don't let us down. Prove your worth.
All right, that's 2 successes on 6 so far.
So help me God, if you are usurping the magic of my dice, I will not do anything about it.
Yeah, remember, we're on a team, Phoenix. If I win, you win. So that was 2 successes on 10 dice. I clearly have not stolen Phoenix's dice. Don't worry, that was a completely normal and achievable success.
So, with 2 successes, you will know most of the information about this particular Vossen, but you won't know it all. Do you want to push that roll?
Hold on. I don't have any conditions yet, but there's a lot of sessions.
I refuse to
left.
believe that. I'm sure you're angry.
Well, yes, but that not in the condition, not like clinically angry, just like casually angry.
Just regular Sofie angry.
Yeah, exactly. Just annoyed per usual. You know what? I got Yorts with me, and I got my advantage still. Okay, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna fucking push it.
Go for it.
That's 2 more successes. Okay, so 4 total successes.
All right, that's enough to get you everything.
Yeehaw.
And what condition is Sofie going to be taking?
Well, what do you think, Brian?
I'm going to say
I'm angry.
miffed. Sofie gets the enraged condition.
Yeah.
All right, so the Vossen that was kind of tickling the back of Sofie's mind. That didn't sound right. The name of the Vossen that was rattling around Sofie's mind is the Brook Horse. Stories of the Brook Horse are often associated with the neck, and these are similar, or perhaps even the same Vossen. The Brook Horse is also called the Bakahastan or the Beckhist, and it's a sharp-toothed predator that lurks in brooks and lakes. Its highest desire is to drown children, but failing that, it will settle for leading wayward people into swamps and streams, where it will laugh as the air escapes their lungs. If someone mounts the horse, they will find themselves unable to get away. It can travel with terrifying speed and be across a county parish in minutes, driving its poor rider to madness or death by drowning. Now, a brook horse can be bound by placing a steel bridle blessed by a priest into its mouth. Once bound, the Bakahasta can plow a field into the symbol of a circular sun cross, or is led into a stable where Christian symbols have been carved into the walls, floor, and ceiling. It will be banished. If you are trapped on the back of a brook horse, explaining cross or cross of Christ will free you and cause the Bakahasta to temporarily disappear.
Something makes me feel like we should start displaying at least a nominal interest in Christianity. Like, even the facade of belief, perhaps, might. So I feel like there's so many of these guys who are like, we fucking hate crosses. And I'm like, buddy, me too, but I really need to employ this against you right now. I'm sorry.
I mean, case in point, you've been friends with most of the Vossen you met.
That's true.
Listener, you can't see it, but Erin's counting them up in her head and being like, yeah.
Okay. So we're in a barn.
Mm-hmm.
We have a priest.
All of this is true.
We could easily, we could do a search and possibly all fail our investigation checks and never find a fucking bridle. I don't know. But we could theoretically look for and conceivably find a bridle in this barn.
Do you go looking for one?
What is everybody else doing?
I mean, if Sophie's telling us we need to find a bridle, we should search for a bridle.
Yeah, Sofie has her usual thing as when basically every time she's making an investigation check, unless it's like a really like combat situation or like she's like digging out the correct book from its pocket in her under her skirts. So she has gone in there and pulled the book out and she's leafing through it and she's like, okay. She's like basically reading off the stuff. So the steel bridle and the blah, blah, blah. And she's like telling you guys what has to happen.
So I have a question as Phoenix, but I feel like Julian would also have the same question.
Mm-hmm. You may both ask.
These books that are in specific pockets, are these external pockets on your skirt, or are you like reaching in and rummaging about, like we just see your hands disappear down your waist,
No.
the
So you know how like old-timey like cloaks and capes have like a big gap like down the side that people's arms like can come out of? There's like a seam.
Okay.
It's like my skirts are like that. There's like a big opening in the seam that like is kind of hidden, but she can stick her hand like basically like a giant pocket, but it just goes to the underneath pockets. So the outside of the skirt is hiding everything, but then her underskirt is where all the pockets are. And so she can reach through the outside skirt and then, reach I mean, she knows which pocket is which. So
I'm just picturing every like dude bro searching through his cargo shorts at the grocery store to pay for the 6-pack or something just to find the whatever money.
yeah,
I mean, Sofie has invented the world's first cargo skirt.
yes. But sometimes it is probably pretty awkward because there are a lot of books, and so there are a lot of pockets all over. So sometimes she has to stick her arm like way down in
Like up to the elbow.
yeah, like up to the like Mary Poppins like carpet bag looking, and then like reach down and get it.
I assure you, the priest is horrified.
Oh, for sure.
reach way down in there and pull out a shotgun.
All right, so are the lot of you going to search around this barn for a bridle?
Yeah, I would assist.
I think maybe one person should maybe stay with Father. Hold on, I have it written down. Don't tell me. Father Duffy.
I actually remembered.
Yay.
Does Julian want to stay with Father Duffy, given that he had to hang out with the dead body for so long?
Yeah, seriously, why are you guys not the ones who are always, it's fine. So, Father, Padre, tell me about yourself.
On that note.
You ever been down to our house by any chance?
He looks at Julian somewhat aghast. Our house? Lord, sweet Jesus, no, I know what goes on there.
Top of the morning to you. I'm sorry.
Don't you mock Father Kalen. Oh, hi, Julian.
Oh, hi, Father. It's so good to be speaking to you today.
Jesus.
Listen, when you motherfuckers want to run like 10 different accents, feel free.
I'm in no way making fun of you.
No
I just had to do
criticism from over
it.
here.
No criticism ever. None. For sure.
I don't know I don't know what's so hard about this. I haven't slipped out of my half Filipino accent once throughout this entire.
Well, we can't all be Phoenix.
Anyways, me and angry Sofie and Dr. J with whatever conditions he has. I'm sure he's got one.
He is suitably frightened.
I feel like Dr. J being frightened, it comes across as the same as Dr. J being angry.
Well, but this is more. So he would be more like unsettled. I guess.
Like shaken or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Just because he was having his own Hitchcock moment of the birds up in the.
Okay, so yeah, Dr. J and I will go and search for a bridle because it seems like we might need that.
Sure thing. Would one of you be willing to make an investigation roll?
I will defer to.
Okay.
If it'll help, I reach into my violin case of holding. I've got this garter. Is that the kind of bridle you're looking for?
Julian.
What is the father's reaction to this?
Mute horror.
Don't give our new friend a heart attack or some sort of other massive trauma before we've even had a chance to get him out of here. Let's go find this bridle.
And take a +1 bonus from Dr. Jensen's help.
And a +1 bonus from my garter.
So 3 successes on 10 dice. On 11 dice. No.
And were those your quote-unquote cursed dice?
Yes, those are maybe my curse has lifted.
I told you they're not cursed. They just like drama. They're just messy, messy bitches. So, they clearly want to see you go toe-to-toe against a brook horse because you successfully find a bridle. There are a number of tools throughout this barn, like pitchforks and things like that. But clearly at one point, horses were kept here. And we can kind of skip over this part. it is easy enough to get Father Duffy to lay a blessing over it. So, Aaron, feel free to put a blessed bridle in your inventory.
It really sounds like some kind of euphemism.
In this case, not. Now, is there anything else that you want to ask Father Duffy while you're here?
Did we establish that he had nothing to do with the crosses or any of that stuff?
Mm-mm. He didn't even see him.
Okay. So he went missing recently.
Yeah, and Halloween was several months ago.
Oh, okay. But recently, like not years ago.
Yeah. And when I say several months, it was probably like about a month and a half.
Okay.
So we're in like late November at this point.
So I never mentioned this guy, these people.
Nope. I never mentioned a priest.
So that's definitely suspicious. Is there anything else, guys, that we need? Is there anything else we need him to bless? We weren't able to find a steel knife. That was what we needed him to bless originally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in the kitchen, you only found silverware.
Mm-hmm.
Was it noted like the knife block would have been empty?
You actually didn't find a knife block in there, which you do think is kind of odd because you saw cuts of meat hanging up.
So after the letter, just recapping, we clearly know that the people, probably the master and possibly Ayer as an accomplice or something, we don't know, were trying to capture and like leash this neck versus actually banishing it. So
that is correct. Or at least that's the inference you can get from the letter.
Right. That's what we can gather from the letter, at least. So the things that would have banished it, they may have hidden or done away with so that because they don't actually want to banish it, they wanted to do something else.
A reasonable, logical leap.
And Julian already searched the barn for a steel knife and was not able to find anything that was...
Nope.
Would it help for anybody else to search?
You're pretty certain that Julian gave this place a thorough once-over.
Okay.
And the father said that they had stayed in the house, they stayed in the bunkhouse, and then people just started disappearing. I mean, I don't know any other questions to ask him, but I don't know if we can leave him here.
No. Oh, but we don't want to take him to the house because Ayer's obviously, he's going to be like, oh, I'm old, I forgot about this guy, or whatever the hell he says, you know?
You know what? That actually might be interesting to see what his reaction is.
Okay.
But we need to, if we do that, and we're going to try to deposit him at the house whilst we go do dangerous things.
Perhaps we could ask him.
A novel thought.
Father, would you like to come along with us? We're going to do what we can to figure out how to get out of this mess. Or would you prefer to wait for us back in the house with Ayer?
Oh, absolutely fucking not. No, I won't be going back to that place. No, I'll stay here. I'm fine doing that.
We sort of had a... Okay, I'm just going to say that Dr. J mentioned this. We had a creepy feeling upstairs, or Dr. J, I thought you, didn't you say like when he got close, he felt like there was, kind of like the hairs on the back of his neck rose up, but then he didn't see anything?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, up in the... Yeah.
When you got 4 successes and then didn't see anything.
Yeah, so Dr. Jensen would have probably mentioned that to Sofie just like in a hushed, like just more of a keep your eyes out, I feel like we're being watched kind of thing.
So, I don't know if it's safe to stay here, Father, because we heard something before we came in, and there seems to be something amiss for certain in this barn. I don't know if you should stay here alone. I don't think it's safe.
Did you not hear it, Father?
No, I didn't hear anything of the sort.
Just to confirm, his clothes aren't ripped a la, Hulk smash or anything like
a terrible
that.
werewolf or something?
Yeah.
Nope. They're a little soggy. They're a little like kind of ragged, just from sort of living rough for a couple weeks. But yeah, it's not like he like tore out of these like the Hulk.
Sure.
You described the noises to him that you heard. Nothing like that. He admits he's been terrified out of his mind, but
He did seem like he was kind of dissociating
Distant.
upstairs there.
Mm-hmm. But he's pretty sure he would have heard something like that.
Interesting. It might be best. What do you all think? Perhaps you could come with us, Father, or
Yeah, it well, just thinking it might be. I don't want to expose the father to any unnecessary danger, but based on the information that you've shared with us about the neck and the other creatures, maybe having a man of faith might be good to have nearby, at least to have a crucifix or rosary or something to.
it's true. That is a good idea. I was just thinking. Wait, wasn't there a cellar door situation that we were supposed to go check out or something like that when we came in?
I don't know about.
So, to fill in, the letter that you found mentioned experiments and things being done in the cellar of the farmhouse.
Right, but we couldn't find anything in the house.
Couldn't find anything in the house. You have not checked the grounds around the farmhouse yet.
Right.
You know, the other reason that we did come in here is you were looking for some rope. If we're going to be all wandering around, do we want to do the whole tie this off on our belts, make sure that we stay together, no one wanders off?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm good with knots.
What?
Shut up, Phoenix.
I was in the Boy Scouts. What?
Uh-huh.
Sofie. Oh
Uh-huh.
my goodness. I mean, that too, but I look over to Father Xavier. I was in the Boy Scouts briefly.
Your GM needs to look up when the Boy Scouts were created.
Girl Scouts was like early
Oh
1900.
no, not those
1910.
not those Boy Scouts. We were just boys scouting. Mm-hmm. Boys will be boys. They'll scout.
And they'll tie knots while they do it.
It's important life skills.
So yeah, if you want to convince Father Duffy to come with you, I am going to need a manipulation test.
Well, you've already built up such a bond with him, Dr. Jensen.
You know what? You're right. Let's do this, Julian.
I love you, Bill.
Do you really want me to roll this?
I do.
Go for it. He's got 2 advantages, right? We're both Julian and I are both helping.
You both could provide a +1 bonus. Bill, I think that doubles your score. And then it drops down to conditions.
Oh shit.
Would you like me to do this?
No. The +1 would cancel out my condition, so it'd just be
You'd
2
have
dice.
+2.
Oh, I have a +2
for both. One for both of us. Yeah.
Oh, so I have it actually goes positive this time. Okay. This is weird new territory.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's roll this.
Oh, the suspense.
Unfortunately, on 3 dice, no successes.
Do you want to push that roll, Bill?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So proud of you, Bill.
Hey!
Okay, so that is 2 successes on 3 dice.
Yay!
Well, all right then.
Never doubted you for a moment, Dr. Jensen. You just needed someone to believe you.
Doubted you from the first second till I saw those 2 fucking successes.
He's like starts talking about like death and on the battlefield and stuff, and he's like, no, wait, listen. He starts over.
Sometimes the real treasure is the manipulation we performed along the way.
No, it's I start talking, and then as I'm talking, I look over to Julian, who's just like, no, No. I change
Try again
my
and do better. All right, so sure enough, with your deep rapport for Father Duffy, you manage to convince him that he needs to come along with y'all.
Julian's standing behind Father Duffy with note cards, like flashcards, like, okay, now it's time for this. And then you do this argument.
Bill, what condition is Dr. Jensen going to get?
He's going to take angry because he can't believe he has to argue with a stupid priest that he doesn't want to stay in the spooky barn.
You'd be so helpful to us. Stupid.
Damn motherfucking priest, just get in line.
Take the fucking end of the rope and come on.
All right, so the four of you exit the barn. And I've got some good news. And by that I mean, I've got good news for me.
Oh no.
The mists are much thicker than they were before. Currently, the orchard and those side buildings that you saw earlier are completely obscured.
Can we still see the house?
You can see the farmhouse, and just barely beyond that, you can see a path leading down to the lake. But everything kind of on the other sides is like a tunnel.
I wonder if we... it wouldn't help anyway. I was gonna say, I wonder if we should, like, tie a trail from the barn to the house so we don't then lose the barn. But A, we've already looked all through the barn, and B, the mist could eat the end of the rope. I don't know. If it
Are you thinking of like doing like blizzard pylons along the...
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to find like stakes or something to tie it to.
Yeah, fuck that barn. Whatever. So, how long is this rope?
About 50 feet.
50 feet of hempen rope. Could we do a situation where, like, one person at the at one end stays near the house, like where the house is in view, and then at the other farthest end of the rope, somebody goes to sort like out towards where the outbuildings were to see if they can still see them or not if we go through the mist? Because maybe there could be a knife in an outbuilding. If it's an orchard, maybe
You could definitely try.
Well, so what you're saying is we want to go back to the house first, and then from the house try to pivot to...
Yeah,
the
like
outbuilding?
towards the house so that we're in easy sight distance of the house and it's not going to disappear. And then, yeah. Is that dumb? I don't know.
It's not a bad idea.
Sounds good to me.
Father Duffy will happily offer to hold the rope for you. Unless you want him to come with.
No, he can stay at the house end.
Wasn't the whole point of the manipulation touch to bring him with us?
No, he's coming with us. What I'm saying is, like, so we have the house here, and, you know, here's the barn, and then here's some outbuildings, we think, but we don't know exactly where they are. I'm saying that one or two of us should stay within a sort of slightly closer radius to the house, just to make sure that we don't get swallowed and lost from the house. And then the other two should take the other end of the rope and just walk a little bit further out towards where the outbuildings are to see if we can catch sight of them again, but not get separated.
I'm fine with the idea. I would probably prefer not to have Father Duffy be the anchor point, though, should he disappear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, at least a couple people on each end.
Sure thing. So kind of like a 2-and-2 kind of situation?
Why don't you stay with him, Dr. J?
That's fine.
I mean, whoever, I don't care who, you know.
I mean, Aaron, they've got such a good rapport.
They do.
Sofie,
They're
just
buddies now.
Any more corpses? Like, just you go. You're into that type of stuff, so.
All right, so just to make sure I'm understanding the plan as your game master, you are having 2 people on one end of the 50-foot rope, 2 people on the other end of the 50-foot rope. The first 2 people are going to walk out into the mist towards the outbuilding, let them go out a ways, and then the other 2 people are going to walk into the mist towards the outbuilding. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I even want us to go into the mist to reach the outbuildings. I just want the first step to me is to see if we can see them once we're at the end of the 50 feet.
Got it. As you kind of wander into the mist, it's going to be very similar to what you experienced before. So I'll tell you that even like 5-10 feet in, you are basically in like a cloud and cannot see any kind of building. Do you and Julian keep pressing on?
I think that was my intent.
Like to get to the end of that rope?
Yeah, to get to the end of the rope for sure.
Okay.
But once we get the end of the rope, if we don't see anything, I think we'll reassess.
Perfect.
I was saying Dr. Jensen's going to be holding on to his end just to make sure kind of feel like it's tugging along.
Yeah, exactly.
not
I don't
going.
ever want us to let the rope go slack because then we won't know if something happens at the other end. So we're holding it taut the whole time and then walking out to the end. Yeah.
And Father Duffy will hang on to that with you, Bill. Phoenix and Aaron, can I get both of you to roll a D66?
64 for me.
That seems bad.
What'd you get?
I got a 54.
Okay. Aaron, can you roll a D6 for me?
No. I don't want to say.
What'd you get?
I got a 6.
Interesting.
I think I just wasted a 6 on a really bad encounter, guys.
As you walk out into this mist, the pair of you reach the end of this 50 feet of rope. And Sofie, you just feel a cold, chill sensation go down your arm and down your side.
Oh, shit.
There's nothing out here that you can see, but you definitely get the sense that there's something in the mist.
I think I'm probably in front since I'm the one who insisted we do this. Plus, in case there's a dead body, I would like to make sure that I shield Julian's virgin eyes from the dead body. So I'll stop and just hold up my hand to Julian. There's something out here, Julian. I can feel it.
I stop and look around. Do I see anything?
I mean, you can just barely make out shapes in the mist. You can see some bushes. You can see just kind of trodden area of grass that you're walking across. You could barely make out some trees in the distance.
I'm going to call back towards the other end of the rope. Not sure what. We think we may have heard something out in this direction. And then I'll kind of turn my head and face the direction of wherever we heard what we heard. Is anyone out there?
There's just stillness and silence.
Do I have any trouble hearing Julian?
His voice sounds a little distant, but you're able to catch him saying, "Heard something, come out here."
I will give 2 tugs on the rope just to see if there's a response to it.
Sofie, Julian, something starts tugging on the rope.
Listen. Okay, this is difficult for me because Aaron is a very cautious player. Now, that's not in terms of I have plenty of fuck it, but if there is real danger, I'm not going to be let's just run in and get ourselves killed normally. But this is a horror game. And it's no fun if every time something scary happens, I'm let's turn around and go back because this is scary. So,
well, I mean, I'll say if this influences you at all, I mean, if he's tugging, if I feel 2 quick tugs on the rope, Julian is taking that as a sign. So I am going to start.
Okay.
And in fact, I will turn to you. That seems like a sign. Should we head back?
Yes, I think maybe we should. We can't see the outbuildings from here, and I don't want to keep creeping further into the mist. We'll never get out. So we might as well head back.
Now, Phoenix, As Julian turns to say that to Sofie, you're just barely able in the distance to see what looks like it might be a small building.
This is why we brace for impact when there's investigation.
So have we come to the end of our 50 feet?
Yeah.
Like, okay. I don't know what Bill heard. So I'm going to call back. Pardon. I said that to Sofie. So first I will turn to Sofie. Wait, I think I see it over here. And I'll point off in the direction. And I will give her a chance to respond before I call back to the other two.
Let's go back first and regroup, and then we'll decide what to do.
Yeah, Sofie is sure she did not see that there a minute ago.
What I'd like to do then is I want to kind of pivot the rope with Sofie and I so that we're kind of in line with those buildings. I'm not approaching any further. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of pivot it so that we're in a straight line.
Yep.
And then I'll start walking back.
Okay. Bill, two shadowy figures begin to emerge from the mist. And after a moment, the shapes of Sofie and Julian take shape again.
Thank goodness. What did you see out there?
I didn't see anything per se, but you guys have already you've seen her scars because I showed them to the troll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, my runes always flare up when there are Vasen. Well, not always, but if they flare up, there are Vasen nearby or something Vasen related. And obviously we know that there are Vasen hereabouts, but out there in the mist, it was very strong. I could feel it. I'm not sure if eventually we may not have a choice but to go out into it, but I think we should avoid it if possible.
Well, you guys must have seen something. I heard Julian call, "Come here." That's why I gave the tug on the rope. I thought that odd, given the...
I put up a finger. Wait, you heard me say come here?
Yes. That's why
That's not what I said. And then I still with that one finger up, I kind of moved my eyes over from Dr. Jensen over to Sofie. And hold on, you've had a Vasen detector on your person this whole time?
No, it just, if it does flare up, it's when we're in the presence of Vasen. It doesn't always. It's not reliable in that way.
Okay. Turning back to Dr. Jensen, what I had called out was Sofie heard something and that we were going to be coming back.
I will... I'll turn to Father Duffy. Did you hear Julian call out to come here, or did you hear what he said, that they saw something?
I heard him say to come out.
I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn to the two again to Dr. Jensen and the father. I think I'd like to go out about 20 feet, maybe about half the length of the rope here. I'm going to call back to you. See the cat glaring at the scared mouse. That's what I'll say.
That's a fucking weird thing to say.
I just cock one eyebrow at the father.
Am I wrong? That's fucking ominous.
It is a little bit ominous.
You could have said, "Hello, my name is Julian," but no. All about scared mice and cats.
You could have said "top of the morning" to you, but no, you had to.
I will call out top of the morning.
No, that's our word.
Oh, okay. Well, look. Okay, now, look. I try. I'm a performer. This is fine. This is fine.
It's constructive criticism, Julian.
All right, I'm gonna walk out there, and I'm just gonna tell you: always make sure to close the barn door. That way, it is a perfectly innocent sentence that can also have what is called a double entendre, which is a French term that means 2 entendres. And I start walking.
Holding onto the rope or no?
Yes, holding onto the rope. I want to go about 20 feet or so.
Excellent.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Phoenix, roll me a d6.
Oh my God.
4.
Okay. You head out into the mist. You're walking for a few feet, and you go to turn. The rope's gone.
I'm holding onto a corpse now, aren't I?
Nope.
It's always a corpse.
Aaron, Bill, the rope is kind of taut, walking out into the mist. You're feeding out some of the line, and it suddenly just drops to the ground.
No. Oh my God.
Fuck.
Brian, please remember that if you kill Julian, you know what happens. The fear of our future cast member should make sure that you do not kill Julian.
I fear nothing.
Please don't kill Julian.
I fear nothing.
Okay. All right, Phoenix, you heard him. He just challenged you.
I'm confident I can kill the machismo man faster than he can become annoying.
All I have to say is I'm taking a hiatus after this, so please feel free to play whatever fucking character you want.
All right, now back to what's actually occurring.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen, Sofie, and Father Duffy watch that rope just fall slack. What do you do?
Fuck.
Oh, I always miss the good stuff.
God damn it, Phoenix.
I immediately run, like, you know, I'm going to
Sophie goes immediately running off into the fog.
No, I'm holding the rope, and I'm going to start walking forward to where I last saw Julian, or the direction that he went.
Okay.
I'm not going to go all the way. I'm going to keep looking back to see if I can maintain sight distance.
Mm-hmm. Bill, what is Dr. Jensen going to do?
So Sophie's picking up the rope and just following
Heading
it along.
into the fog. Yep.
Fuck again. He does not think it's wise to go out into the fog.
It's not.
He can't leave the father here, and Sophie's already marched off.
All of this is true.
I'm assuming I lose visual. How far out have they typically gone before I lose visual contact with them?
About like 5-6 feet.
So I basically just see the silhouette of Sofie going off.
Starting to disappear. Yep.
I will just call off to her, keep the rope taut, yell if anything happens. I'll just hold on and stay there with the father.
He's just crossing himself, and he's got those rosaries out. Julian,
Brian.
you're in a very dense area of the fog, but you can kind of see something up ahead. Do you start walking towards it?
So the rope is gone.
Gone. You look out in your hand, it's just not there.
I will turn in whatever way I think is back towards my group, and I will go ahead and call out, you know, always close the barn door tightly.
No answer. Your voice kind of feels like it echoes out in the fog a little bit.
And I don't hear him either.
None of you hear that.
Well, this is suboptimal. You know, Aaron, it's funny you were talking about how there's the part of me as a player that doesn't want to do this. There's a part of me of the character that kind of does want to do something here. Hey, I'm gonna try something out here. Brian, can I have you call high or low for me?
Absolutely. Low.
Okay, that is very low. So I just rolled a 9 on a D100, which would be very low.
Indeed.
So, Brian, you did bring this upon yourself.
That's what I live for.
So I see some shapes off in the distance. buildings? Did you say?
Hard to say. Hard to say. You just see something up ahead. Do you start heading towards it, or you just head deeper into the fog?
I am going to head towards it, but I'm
Mhm.
also going to say that, and this is what I was rolling for, Julian is definitely a little creeped out here. This is not
Mhm.
cool. And how does Julian soothe himself and try to get his shit together again? He's going to start humming to himself.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to do anything, but we'll find out, I guess. So, yes.
That's what it's funny because I was gonna say when I started walking off from Dr. J that I was gonna start singing in the fog and see, you know, how long he could hear me so he could keep
Are
hearing me
you
until
both insane?
Yes.
This, I feel like, is very in character for Julian, and it's just also, it might get me killed. I guess we're going to find out. I don't know. But this is scary, and he would definitely be trying to... I would definitely be trying to self-soothe a little bit here. So, yeah, I'm probably humming lightly under my breath as I make my way over to whatever those shapes are.
Mhm. Excellent. Excellent. Julian is humming lightly to himself. And again, it's kind of pitching a little bit weirdly in this mist. It echoes. Sounds don't quite sound right. You keep heading forward, and the mist begins to thin. And you can just barely make out the shapes of trees up ahead. You draw close enough that you spot row after row of scraggly apple trees. Their thin branches stretched upwards. Droplets of water cover the bark and leaves, and you spot several round red and green apples hanging from low branches. It's then that you spot strands of spider webs strewn all over, clinging with droplets of water. They almost look like bejeweled hairnets, covered in diamonds, emeralds, and rubies, as they catch the light passing through the mist. From somewhere deeper in the stand of trees, you hear a loud and heavy breathing, as if something very large were laboring with great heaving breaths. Afterwards, everything goes still and silent.
Peeing's a free action in this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I pee a little.
Yeah, you can release your bladder as a free action at any time.
Okay. I pee a little.
Why do you always pee a little?
Because peeing a lot would be gross.
That's like the third mystery where you've peed a little.
Don't shame him. Let him express his fear as he sees fit.
Well, from now on, expressing my bladder shall be known as expressing my fear. Why? Because that seems reasonable. I just heard the large breathing. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry. It's going to get worse.
I 100%
Boo
believe
to you, Brian. Boo to you.
Boo, indeed.
Okay. I'm just going to repeat back to you and make sure that I'm understanding. So I have not yet made it to the
You're kind of
the
on
orchard,
the edge of this grove.
kind of on the edge of it. So I'm seeing the trees, all the colorful, and then further in is where I'm hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Phoenix the player is having a hard time remembering the Vasen that Sofie learned about, that we were looking for the bridle.
Mm-hmm.
What was the shape of that animal?
That was a horse.
Did this sound like could have been a very, very large horse?
Sounded like it could have been a draft horse.
Oh boy.
Of course, of course.
3 out of 10.
Okay. I no longer hear that sound.
Yep.
I am going to take a moment to get my own breathing back under control.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am going to walk to the closest of the orchard trees.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of put my hand on it and just start repeating. I am not going to be shouting. This is going to be in just like a speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the orchard. I'm in the orchard. I'm in the orchard. And I'm just going to keep repeating that for a while.
Okay. You keep repeating that. You look down. You see that there are some ruts in the ground. There are little pools of water where some of this kind of residual water is collected. You see there are apples everywhere. Some of them have kind of rotted and molded into the ground. Others look pretty fresh. Can I get a vigilance test?
Uh-huh. So that is 1 die plus 3 for logic, minus 2 for my conditions. So that'll be 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Dr. Jensen do this. It'll be fine. I can do this.
Totally got this.
Would Phoenix have perhaps taken the lantern when he walked out into the mist by himself?
Would have been a good choice.
I wasn't planning that far ahead. Yeah, no, that's 0 successes on 2 dice.
Do you want to push it?
That would be my 3rd mental condition.
Mm-hmm.
Brian says with a smile.
I don't think... Actually, before I push the roll, may I use, as I am... So as I'm looking around, can I be repeating to myself as well here for a moment? I'm too pretty to die. I'm too pretty to die. I'm too pretty to die. And take advantage of the sacred creed of Erato.
Absolutely, you can.
That-
Feel free to add the plus 2 dice.
2 dice. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. That is 2 more unsuccessful rolls. So that is 0 success on 4 dice.
Do you want to push it with all 4?
God. This is a bad idea, but the only thing I've got left is angry, so I'm...
Hey, that's not true. You can also become broken.
Yeah, well, yes, there is always that.
Thanks, Brian. You're so helpful.
I'm helping.
It's a terror rage, but yeah, I will
Mhm.
go ahead with angry, and I will push that roll. That is 1 success on 4 dice.
Yay!
Okay.
I don't know if that's enough or whatever this is, but it's 1 success on 4 dice.
So I have some good news.
Yes, sir.
Julian takes a moment and kind of surveys the scene around him. And amongst all the ruts, the little pools, you spot something interesting. They're footprints made from booted feet. It looks like there's been a person who's been walking around here. And they exit the grove. They exit this orchard in an area where the mist seems a little bit thinner.
Do I have any sense of which direction, like, the pond is from my location?
Mm-mm.
Ugh.
Not at the moment, at least.
I am going to... So how far away are the footprints from, like, where I'm standing at the tree there?
Maybe 50, 60 feet.
I'm going to do my best to keep my eyes focused on those footprints.
Mhm.
I don't think I want to leave my landmark just yet. I'm going to wait around here,
Okay.
keeping my eyes on those footprints, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep repeating, I'm in the orchard, I'm in the orchard, I'm in the orchard.
Now, Julian may change his mind about that momentarily, because you hear a thump as one of the apples falls from the tree. And you look up for just a second, because the branch moved a little bit as that apple kind of fell off. And that's when you see one of them. There are spiders who are crawling across these branches. Fat, white spiders, mottled with gray spots, who are roughly the size of a house cat. You spot at least a dozen of them spread across different apple trees.
That was my next question. All right.
And then you hear it say, "What brings you here?" And we're going to cut back over to Sofie.
I'd rather you didn't.
This is fine.
I don't want
Too
to.
bad.
I don't want to be part of this. Okay,
So you were running off into the mist.
I sure was.
Dr. Jensen, you were holding the rope along with Father Duffy. Aaron, can I get a D6 from you?
That's a 2.
Marvelous.
I don't like that tone of voice.
I don't know why.
Maybe it's the trauma, Brian.
You knew you were gaming with me. You knew that trauma was going to happen.
It's true. Okay.
Sofie races out into the mist to try and find Julian.
Now, wait a minute. I specifically said I was going to... I'm not running.
Okay.
I am moving along the rope and continuously checking back to see at what point I may be about to lose Dr. J.
Fair. All right, so at about 10 feet out then, you look back, and Dr. Jensen is just barely visible. He's almost fully lost to the mist.
Okay, I'm gonna yell at Dr. J. I can't leave Julian out there by himself. I have to go find him. And then I'll walk out into the fog.
And as you turn and walk out into the fog, there is a startling noise. You hear the mournful cry of a loon as it flies past you. And after a few moments, it flies past again from the same direction. And again.
Oh,
and again.
Don't put me in Groundhog Day. I didn't... Oh.
Can I get a fear test from you?
Motherfucking shit. Fuck balls. That is 1 success on 5 dice.
All right, you hold yourself together. But it definitely seems like this bird is trying to fly past you and seems to keep coming back from the other side. Like it's trying to fly past and just keeps starting over, which is very unsettling.
Okay, but when we tried to go back to the fence posts earlier, we were heading away from the house, and then we popped out and we were facing the house.
Mm-hmm.
So this seems like this is part of the loop, that the feedback loop that occurs around the house on this property.
And that's a logic fear test successfully being made.
Yes. So if he's going from, if he's going left to right, that means that, but then if it seems like he would be popping out in the opposite way. Anyway, it still seems like it's part of the feedback loop.
And after a half dozen passes, it winds up stopping.
Do I have any visibility or sound of Julian or anything else yet?
Nothing from Julian.
Can I see anything in the fog yet?
Do you just keep following the end of that rope?
Yeah, because basically, from what I can see, so Dr. J has it on the other end, and for now, I have a taut rope from that end, and in front of me is a slack rope. Is that right?
Correct.
So yeah, I'm just picking up the slack rope and going along it.
You finally get to the end. There's no sign of Julian, but you're able to see that big silhouette of that outbuilding that you just barely spotted when you were with Julian earlier.
Can I retcon something because my character isn't stupid, even if I am?
Depending on what it is.
Because, Julie and I went out, and then we tried to yell back to Dr. J, and they heard something different than what we were saying. And then Julian went out and disappeared. I was thinking about this before I left, and then I forgot to go back to it. That we would have set up some kind of little pattern or something, a password for the rope.
Yep.
3 tugs is come this way immediately, but no, stop. Don't laugh. I can't say there's no word that I can say. I can't say a yank or a jerk or any of that. on the rope, because all of that is a double entendre, which is a French word that means two entendres.
You know, I've heard that somewhere.
Entendre means to hear, by the way. Anyway, so I will say that 2 pulls on the rope is just like checking in, but then 3 strong pulls is like danger Will Robinson or something. I don't know. So I will, since I so far still have the rope, I'm going to, do the check-in. And I'm at the end and I can see the outbuildings.
Yep.
But it doesn't reach the outbuildings.
Nope. Do it. Just go check them out.
You know
it's cool
what?
Horror movie logic. How could it go wrong?
No, Sofie, that is not.
Just send Dr. Jensen.
I mean, her whole advantage is don't be dumb. So, she's gonna give the summon Dr. J pull on the rope. The signal that means come this way at once, please.
Do I feel the rope getting tugged? Then I will look at the father. All right, Father Duffy, hey, we're gonna go after him, and so I'll just, with him trying to keep him like basically next to me, shoulder to shoulder. We'll just keep pulling, following the rope, keeping it taut to try and find where Sofie is.
The father will cross himself and put both hands on the rope and accompany you into the mist. Aaron, are you kind of leading them on to that outbuilding, or are you just going to meet up in the mist?
I will very slowly try to inch towards the outbuilding as I can feel the rope moving and they're coming. I'm assuming they're coming towards me.
Yep.
So I'm not going to drag them up there, but I'm just going to move in that direction to make sure that I stay within sight of it and it doesn't disappear on me again.
Yep. The 3 of you are able to kind of come out the mist around the same time as they're catching up, and you're kind of proceeding slowly. And you're able to definitely keep a lock on it as you head in that direction. In the mist beyond, you can just barely make out the shapes of fir trees surrounding a small building. It's a simple one-room cabin with cords of wood stacked in front of an open door. A lone window sits in the wall, but it's impossible to see through, given that it's encrusted with blackish mold. For just a moment, you catch a flicker of movement, as though someone wearing a dress disappeared through the building's door seconds after you arrived, slipping into the dark. What do you all do?
Now I drag them along with me.
I try to rein her in a little bit.
You rush towards that door. It's just a single building with a kind of squarish look to it. The whole place is just covered in damp and mold. Inside, it is pitch black. Do either of you have the lantern? Okay.
I'll say that's Sofie.
Sofie holds that up. You're able to see a few things inside. There's a rusty metal bowl filled with rocks at the center of the room, and a row of benches along one of the back walls. Water keeps dripping from cracks in the ceiling into little puddles on the ground. And in the back corner, you see what appears to be a figure, huddled. With the light of your lantern, you can't quite make out any details.
Lucius will look over to Sofie. Do you want to go move closer?
I do, but I came out here to find Julian and make sure he comes to no harm. But obviously we have to know who this is.
You said it's a huddled figure, vaguely humanoid. Does it look like it's wearing clothes, or just kind of like more of a shadow?
Yeah. It's a little hard to spot through the shadows, but it looks like it might be wearing a white dress, or covered in a white sheet.
Lucius will turn to Father Duffy. Does this look like someone that you might be familiar with?
He shakes his head.
All right, I'm going to take the lantern and walk up.
Okay.
Not, I mean, like, slowly. I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't.
Cautiously.
There's been a lot of scared people, including the three of us, in this situation. So.
Lucius is going to slip a hand into his pocket and fit on one of his brass knuckles just in case. As he's watching Sophie's back with the shadowed figure there.
Is he keeping kind of close to Sofie?
He will... I'm assuming the father wants to stay at the door, and Sophie's moving forward. He'll kind of try and stay in between, I guess, like midway between the two.
Got it.
Wants to give Sophie some space, because
Who also
Doctor...
wants to keep close.
Well, and yeah, stay close if something needs to happen, but give her space because he knows that he is not the most welcoming individual, and that it's just kind of a freak occurrence that Father Duffy is okay standing here.
He didn't lose his mind because Dr. J talked to him.
That's fair.
Charisma was my dump stat. What do you want?
I will point out before I move forward, I'll ask Father Duffy to go ahead and tie the rope, like, actually around his waist to make sure that he doesn't get snatched or something. Absolutely,
he does so. The pair of you enter this sauna. It is dark. It smells overpoweringly of mold. Sofie holds up the lantern. And you get about halfway through the room when the door slams shut. Julian.
Yes?
You are in an orchard. You are looking out across this field. You spot muddy footprints and tracks leading to an area where the mist seems a little bit thinner. And you have hissing spiders who are speaking to you. What is Julian going to do?
They said something to me. What did they say?
What are you doing here?
I am going to figure it out. I am going to... I can manipulate spiders, right? That'll be fine. I'm going to try to keep my shit together, and I will respond back. Oh, I was just here with my very large group of friends trying to make my way through. I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere.
Several other spiders kind of skitter across these trees and begin to watch you.
Can I help you with something?
Can we help you with something?
Do you know the way out?
Oh, we know many things. We have watched.
Another one from another tree that you hadn't noticed whispers,
we have waited.
Another one kind of skitters halfway down a branch.
We could share this with you. We know many answers. We only need something brought to us. Something live.
And another one whispers,
something wriggling.
And another one whispers,
something warm.
And they begin clicking their little pedal apps together.
Cool. Great. Love hearing that. I'm going to shoot the closest one.
Make a ranged combat test.
Oh, boy. Now, I have had the advantage of steady aim for quite some time here. Is that going to be that's a one-time use, I'm assuming?
It is, but it does not expire between mysteries.
Right, okay.
And just like a normal advantage, I'll let you roll that one after you make a test.
Okay. So that's 8 dice.
Oh, and don't forget, you have a pistol, right?
Oh, yes, so +2. So 10 dice.
Don't fuck it up.
That's 1 success on 10 dice.
All right. These spiders are kind of hissing and inching a little closer and a little closer. And you just fucking draw a bead on one and shoot it straight out of the tree.
Will that suffice?
They hiss angrily and begin scrambling back and away from you.
Will that suffice? It wriggling so much anymore, is it?
There are a lot of chittering sounds coming from the trees around you, but they're definitely giving you a lot of space.
I am... Oof. I am going to hold my ground here, and now I am no longer staying at speaking voice. I am now yelling as loud as I can. I am in the orchard! I am in the orchard!
You continue to hear your voice kind of echo in a weird way. And then from the direction those footprints were, you hear someone shouting, "Come this way! Come this way!
I am in the orchard. No.
Get the fuck out of the orchard then!
Yeah. There is the part of me that is my GM is trying to tell me something here, and then there is also the part of me that's like,
fight spiders.
There's also the part of me that's like, no, you get lost, you pick your reference, you pick your landmark, you don't fucking move, and you shoot spiders that talk. And I also know that voices do weird things out here.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So it called out and said, "Come this way."
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell are you?
There's a brief pause, followed by, "Who are you?"
Even through all of my fear, and, this is just... There's a part of me that's a little indignant that he didn't recognize my voice.
It did sound slightly feminine.
There's a part of me that's a little offended she didn't recognize my voice. Who am I? You don't... Don't know what else I could have expected out here. I am one Julian Benavides.
And in that thin area of the fog, you see a shape of a person. And you hear someone call out, "The Sigger?"
Oh, I feel a little better now. Yes. Obviously. Well, no, not obviously. This is a strange place. Yes, it is I. Who are you?
You begin to hear more clicking from the spiders, and you see that several of them are gathering together. Do you keep holding your ground?
Is there any response from my inquiry of who are you?
Yep. She shouts back, "My name is Olga Vikander."
I don't know that name, do I?
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot the spiders again and start going in that direction then.
All right. I won't make you do another ranged combat test. You can even shoot just in their general direction, and that's enough to get them to back the fuck up. But they are clattering and clicking very angrily at you. You head in Olga's direction and spare one quick glance behind you, and do see that the spiders are wrapping up that one that you shot.
You're welcome!
You head to that area of the mist, and a woman is kind of like signaling you on, like, come on.
Hell, I just realized. I just fulfilled their request. They should totally be giving me answers.
You deserve a quest reward.
I know, right? I'm not going to go.
You can try and see how that goes.
I won't. I won't. I will continue towards Olga.
You head out, and where Olga is, the mist kind of opens up. And interestingly, you see that she has set up a little tent in what looks like a field. It looks like a plowed field. And the mist doesn't go anywhere near it. It's like a big open spot.
I will approach. I'm sorry. Do I see her?
Yep. She's a very stout woman. Looks like a farmer. She's got simple clothes on, has a heavy-duty apron. She has a noticeable scar that goes from one cheek over the bridge of her nose and across onto the other cheek. And she looks at you for a moment. Are you really Julian Benavides?
Okay, so I see her. I will answer her in just a moment. But in terms of this little campsite that she's set up, am I now within this kind of clear area of no
Yep.
mist? Okay.
Yep.
I am. Why is there? Not that I'm complaining, mind you. Why is there no mist in this one little section here?
I wish I knew. Do you know why we cannot leave this place?
Oh, I was hoping that you would have those answers. I was here with a couple of my friends slash colleagues, depending on the day, and we got separated. I one moment I had a rope. I was going towards, and then all of a sudden it was gone. Like the rope, it was in my hands.
You should be careful if you wander in the mist. Bad things can happen.
Noted.
Here, come and sit down. I don't have much, but I've got apples.
I have some things as well. I'll go ahead and pull out the bottle of fine wine, and
You have a cooking kit.
I have a cooking kit. I don't know how much I can cook with apples, but but I can definitely get us drunk.
She's gung-ho about this.
Dr. Jensen would approve of this methodology here. I've seen him do medicine. This is how medicine works. It's just mine's burns less.
10 out of 10, no notes.
So she shares that her name is Olga Vikander. She has been trapped in here for what she thinks is a couple of weeks now. She's been getting water out of the nearby puddles, and she's been grabbing apples when she can. Those spiders didn't used to be this big. They've suddenly gotten much, much bigger. So she doesn't trust going through the orchard much anymore. She had a brief encounter at the farmhouse with a guy named Iyer Manson, but she does not trust him in the least.
Yeah.
So when she found this spot, she has been making a point of avoiding it. Avoiding leaving this area, since the mist seems actually clear here.
Okay.
She also reveals that after she got over the initial terror of being stuck here, it's mostly been terribly boring. Because she's just stuck in a field with nothing to do.
If only Sofie was with her, she would have so many books to read.
She actually shares, if you are going to wander around, be very careful of the building with the sauna.
Oh, great.
There's a sauna?
She wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, right, of course.
Before finding this field, she'd found that, looked inside, and saw a slumped over body.
What is it with bodies in this place? I found we were in the barn, and there was this other body
She
there.
Never came across a barn.
Never came across the barn?
Well, she looked inside and saw what looked like a slumped over body, and managed to pull a journal from a pocket. However, the door to the sauna slammed closed on its own. She barely managed to get her hand out in time.
So did she say she found a journal? So she wasn't going into the building. She was just reaching inside and the body was there. And then she had to yank her hand out.
You are not there, but the body was right next to the door.
Okay.
Which is no longer the case for you.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure that's fine.
We'll get to you in just another minute.
And I'm sorry, then she did or did not manage to actually grab the journal?
She did.
She did.
It's been her only reading material for the last couple of days.
Oh, you would love my friend Sofie. Or colleague, depending on the day. Have you learned anything from it? Anything, I suppose if you'd learned how to get out, you probably already would have done that.
She'd be willing to trade it to you. If you have any other reading material, or if you got some food and drink that she can have, it's yours.
I mean, I do have stuff. The question is, what am I gonna, there is a there is a brief consideration of if isn't the gift of my presence, is that not, people pay a lot for, you know what, no, not the time, not the place.
I was about to say, feel free to make a manipulation test on that one.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you're Julian Benavides.
Julian F. Benavides. Okay.
The F actually stands for Frank. It's a real weird middle name.
That would be 10 dice, and because of my performer talent, I ignore my conditions for manipulation tests. Aaron, I think you broke my dice.
The curse has passed on, and Bill now has the blessing.
The blessing.
And I used roll 20 just to spite everyone.
That is 0 successes on 10 dice.
Wow.
Do you want to push that roll?
There's a part of me that wants to push the roll, go broken, and just wait for everyone to find me. I don't know. It's weird. I will not break myself trying to impress
a stranger to give you a book.
Although that would be very thematically Julian. If he is going to break himself, that would totally be how it happens. Trying to impress some random person.
A random Ballard farmer.
She knew who you were. I could totally see Julian doing it.
Yeah, it would be in character, but even I have limits for how far I'm going to push. It's what I would do. And like going broken for that, that's a step too far.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that is 0 success on 10 dice.
Would you be willing to trade her your fine wines?
I will do so.
I'm assuming Julian does not have any reading material on him.
If I'm looking through all of my stuff, I'm like, no. It's makeup, fine wines, costume, an elegant disguise, and a field kitchen.
Yep.
Along with my silk red rose. But strangely enough, for some strange reason, books, that's for the nerds.
Yeah, so she'll happily trade you this in exchange for the fine wine, so she can at least get blasted while she is out here, because she is super bored.
Understandable.
All right, now we're going to cut back briefly to Sofie and Dr. Jensen. There is a loud thump as the door slams shut on its own. You begin to hear Father Duffy banging on the door, yelling for you.
Did the rope just catch in the door, or is it...
Oh, yeah. It's just slammed shut right around it. And as you watch, the rocks that are in that brazier suddenly begin to glow.
No. Oh my God, don't trap me in a sauna. My worst nightmare.
They are glowing red hot, and water begins dribbling down from the ceiling, filling the room with steam.
I hate sweating.
Well, fair. Is Sofie going to rush over to that body? Or is she going to try and head for the door?
She's in here now. She's going to go check it out.
Okay.
Are there any windows in this building?
There is one that is completely covered and encrusted in mold.
Right, okay, got it.
But otherwise it's pitch black in here except for your lantern and the glowing light from the sauna rocks.
Got it.
So Sofie rushes over to the body, and two things catch your eye. The first is what's on the ground. There is a small triangular piece of a mosaic.
Snatch that.
And, well, give me a second. Depicted on it is the Ouroboros, a serpent wrapping around itself and biting its own tail. The second thing is you take a look down at that body and realize what, at a distance, you mistook for a white dress is actually a coat that has grown a thick carpet of round white mushrooms. Does Sofie touch the body at all?
I will take out I'll take out my writing utensils. So basically a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And reach out and like
Poke it. It immediately collapses on itself. Can I get a fear test?
Let's go. 1 success on 5 dice.
All right, you hold your shit together. This body kind of falls apart in a disgusting, squelching way.
Oh!
And where one of the feet was, there is a boot. And tucked inside of it is a steel knife. However, the room that you and Dr. Jensen are in is getting hotter and hotter.
Nightmare!
Cutting back to Julian. You open this old, worn leather journal and discover it is the last written words of a Michael Corbett.
Oh, shit.
You don't know who that is. But
Didn't I say his name when I'm sorry, Brian, but didn't I say his name when I was asking Ire if he had been there?
I think you did. I forget if you synced up with Julian and Lucius on who that was. But
anyway, go ahead. It's fine. Either way,
it will become very quickly apparent who that was, as the journal makes reference to young Sofie.
Oh, Jesus.
And his missing wife. I wish I got a screen grab of that. Aaron's face was amazing.
I bet you did.
And
Jesus.
we will end on Julian finding at the back of this book a note in an envelope. And it contains the exact same message that was sent to Sofie.
Mother!
But this time, written in English. There are more contents of this journal that I'll share with you, but that'll have to wait until next time.
Next time!
Listener, I think I just killed Aaron a little bit.
Oh my God.
All right. I hope this was a fun one, and I cannot wait till our next session.
Brian, you're evil.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Spirits and Monsters of Old Seattle. Our theme song is Myths and Legends by Robert Bruckmeyer, which is playing right now. Our music is by Andreas Lundström, and you can hear more of his work on the Sweden Rolls podcast. Link in the show notes. Our editor is Hannah Cheney. If you're enjoying this show, please take 2 minutes to rate and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. I know every podcast says it, but it really does make a difference and helps us continue to grow the show. Finally, remember the motto of the library. Fear gives way to knowledge. Knowledge gives way to wisdom. And wisdom gives way to the truth. Until next time.